Welcome back to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us today. Tree diaper, Holly. Waters your plants without any knowledge that of you at all.
Absolutely. Tree diaper is a revolutionary watering system that slowly releases water on the base of any tree or plant as the soil dries. The tree diaper is filled with water from rain or when you water and slowly releases water over 3 weeks. No overwatering or underwatering with the tree diaper. Every time it rains, tree diaper recharges. No pipes, hoses, or electricity needed. Water your plants and trees whether you're down by the house, by the road, or in the back 40. Also works under mulch. Whether you're a first-time gardener or advanced, tree diaper will improve the way you water your plants. Made in the USA. You can find all the sizes they have available at treediaper.com. That's treediaper.com.
Treediaper.com. Water your plants without you having to water. Works great.
That was some snazzy, jazzy intro music.
Yeah.
You know what else is snazzy, jazzy?
Bird watching?
Bird watching.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's
snazzy. It's a terrible segue, but okay.
I'm not sure if it's snazzy or jazzy.
It depends on what birds you're seeing.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we have some cranes, and those are kind of fun to watch.
So bird watching anytime, but especially over the winter in most of the northern areas, based on what type of birds you've got coming in, also depends on what you're going to provide them to eat. And if you have a lot of snow, which projections are showing that we are probably going to have a snowier winter, take that for what it's worth. It would allow you to see the birds more vibrantly because of the white background, whether you have a red bird or yellow bird or whatever the case is, Holly.
Absolutely, yeah. You can definitely find some birds to watch. Now, I would highly recommend finding what comes through your area and when, and then you can also attract those birds by putting out bird food or whatever.
A bird feeder.
Bird feeder, whatever might attract them. Maybe you have
bird bath.
Yeah, I don't know if you want a bird bath during winter. But
You put a bird bath. If you have a bird bath, there are heating coils or water heaters that are designed for bird baths. They're also used in the agricultural world for keeping tanks from freezing for livestock, and it's a little coil, and it just has enough warmth in it to keep the water from freezing, and it'll allow the birds. When you create a habitat for such a situation, you will see more than what you've ever seen before, because you are probably the only one in the area that is doing this. And birds talk to birds, and they will come and enjoy what you have provided for them.
Right, and this is, I think, personally, for me, if I, had the time or whatever to do this, I think that if you you kind of get a little bit down during winter, this could definitely be a focal point and a distraction from the winter blues. And so it's something that could be good for your mental health as well. I think people should document what they see with dates, because you might find out from a neighbor or a local birding group that these birds are coming through the first week in January, and then you might find that they come through the first week in January through the end of January or whatever.
And again, depends on your area what birds will be available. And you want to get a good quality bird feed or bird seed and a good quality bird feeder. And I will attest to, if you're going to invest in a bird feeder, you can get a nice one for $15 or $20 or $25. Get an all-metal one. Get an all-metal one, because we went through this with the plastic tubes that hung on the bird feeding poles, and no matter where we put them, squirrels found them and destroyed them. The metal ones, not so much. So it's worth the buy once and not have to buy again thing.
Joy was very upset with the squirrels.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him, because, it was a constant battle for a while last summer. So. And
it depends on now what time of day. In wildlife, and what I am aware of wildlife growing up on the farm with land and outdoor recreational activities there, that on the coldest days, animals typically moved. Wildlife typically moved during the peak of the day when it was the warmest, even though it may only been 8 degrees. In the coldest portions of the time, they would, deer, squirrel, whatever it is, would bed down. They wouldn't move. They were actually smarter than humans because they would not venture out. So some birds, based on what situation you have set up on your backyard or your property, will vary on when they come in. But again, if you've got good bird feeders, whether it's bird feeders or the mullet, what is it? The stuff that's stuck together in the little block.
Oh,
we're blanking.
The millet.
Millet, yeah. You can have multiple different types of bird feed and seed because of different birds, and that bird feeder or that bird bath, you will have constant activity with your backyard.
Right. And I think if you observe enough, you'll kind of get to know their patterns. But another thing to keep in mind is about, I don't want to call them predatory birds, but they're kind of predatory.
The bullies.
Yeah, the bullies, the bird bullies. So crows are a big culprit there. They will sometimes scare off other birds. So if you can find, maybe you literally get a scarecrow for your yard or something to keep the crows away, because crows are...
They're the dominant bird.
And they like eat trash and stuff. So they'll be fine. It's the little, robins or sparrows or whatever that you want to observe, and then also make sure that whatever you're putting out stays for them.
Yeah. It's and one of these things you're probably going to have to keep the feed in, because they're going to probably consume more in the winter than they are because there's not much out there to consume.
Another thing is, I remember a couple of years ago where we had snow, I don't know, until March or even April. Robins were not getting fed properly because they eat protein. So they eat like mealworms, things like that. And people were making little like kits to leave out for the robins so that they had proper
Don't
food.
put here. Let's discuss this. The bird flu, Holly. This was a thing, or is a thing, or based on who's in charge or what now is the rule. The bird flu was or maybe still is a concern to people that are feeding birds or want to feed birds. What would you suggest to that?
I think that you would want to just do your own research on that and see what you feel comfortable with doing. I haven't heard about it in a while, so I don't know if it's still going on. I don't know. I know that you would probably just want to make sure that if it's something that's occurring in your area, then you would be mindful about birds catching it. Right.
So keep that in mind. But I would suggest, and we've done it before, we've put, and we'll probably do it again this winter, put a bird feeder out. We've got one. We've just got to top it off and watch the birds enjoy it. The other thing that you want to be aware of is if you put a bird feeder in the physical garden, expect that you're going to have the milo and the sunflowers and the mullet and all the little seeds. Millet. There's going to be some droppage, and there's going to be around that bird feeder, whether it's in the yard or in the garden, you're going to have a nice crop of a lot of vegetation because of what the birds kick out.
Right.
And we've had beautiful sunflowers in the garden because the birds didn't eat the sunflower seeds that were in the bird feeder.
Absolutely. And this could be an interesting way to get sunflowers. Another thing we've done is we've taken our old seeds.
Yes.
And we've
the old garden seeds that are multiple years old past the prime.
Put them all together in a jar and use that as bird feed.
We have done that, yes, and it's worked well. So if you got nothing going on this winter and you've got a whole bunch of seeds, and we've still got seeds from over 10, 11 years ago that's in the seed box that we just haven't got rid of for a variety of laziness reasons. We will put those...
Not laziness, it's just time.
Yeah. We will put those in the actual bird feeder. And, if it's nothing else, it's filler for the birds that they will have something for their body to feed off of.
And there's also little projects you can do, little crafty DIY homemade bird feeder, whether it be a pine cone, they put peanut butter on it, put the bird seed on it, what have you. There's all sorts of things that you can do to create a nice little bird feeder. So if you have kids, grandkids, niece and nephew, whoever, you can make do a little weekend project for the birds.
Well, Holly, summer is over. Well, the official unofficial summer ends Labor Day weekend here. And you've forgotten about the yard. The nights are getting colder. The kids are in school. But your yard still needs to have some love given to it.
Yeah, just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles either. They may be gone, but they're not far. Not only did they feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs in your turf so they can start again next year. You can take a stand with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT granular that specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae. Simply apply the granule to a spreader, irrigate into the soil, and let the naturally occurring bacteria do its job.
Not only is Grub Gone easy to use, but is the only non-chemical choice that effectively controls grubs. And the best part about it, it's non-toxic to bees and other pollinators. In fact, Grub Gone has 0 label restrictions for use around flowering plants, so you don't have to worry about those bees and butterflies and insects taking up chemicals and taking it back to their loved ones. You can find all this out at BeetleGone.com. Get your Grub Gone at BeetleGone.com. And when you go to BeetleGone.com, you can use coupon code GardenTalk10 to save 10% on your order.
For more information, please visit theWisconsinVegetableGardener.com.